yourself first. Have you ever had a moment where a woman greets you and something about it just feels different? Maybe her tone softens or there's a flicker of warmth in her eyes that seems to last longer than usual. These moments often leave men wondering, was that just friendliness or was there something more behind it? The truth is, greetings are powerful psychological windows into what someone truly feels. When attraction or curiosity exists beneath the surface, the subconscious mind often reviews it through small gestures, changes, and energy and nonverbal cues. This video isn't about fantasy or over-analysis. It's about understanding what science says about subtle attraction and the ways our bodies communicate it before our words ever do. Psychologists have long noted that attraction doesn't start with words. It starts with perception. The human brain evaluates hundreds of visual and auditory signals in seconds. Before you even speak, a person's subconscious is already making micro judgments about comfort, chemistry, and compatibility. So when a woman greets you, her brain and body are both involved in that moment. Her greeting, even if casual, can carry traces of emotional awareness, especially if she's previously imagined a romantic or intimate connection with you. This doesn't mean she's acting on it, even consciously aware of it. Rather, her subconscious is subtly shaping how she interacts with you. Let's talk about a tone of voice, one of the most revealing yet overlooked signs of attraction. Research and evolutionary psychology shows that both men and women instinctively modulate their voices when speaking to someone they find appealing. A woman's voice may become slightly softer, slower, and warmer when greeting someone who triggers emotional curiosity. This isn't deliberate, it's a natural human response, linked to trust and comfort. If you pay close attention, you might notice that her voice sounds slightly more melodic or emotionally layered than when she greets others. Voice carries emotional resonance. It's often the first place attraction leaks through the filter of politeness. Next comes eye contact, perhaps the most universally powerful signal of connection. When a woman greets someone she feels neutral about, eye contact is brief and functional. But when there's an undercurrent of attraction, even mild, her eyes may linger for just a moment longer. That extra fraction of a second communicates vulnerability, curiosity, and warmth all at once. Sometimes she may even break eye contact too quickly, a classic micro expression of nervousness. The irony is that both prolonged and avoidant eye contact can indicate interest depending on her comfort level and personality type. The key is to notice the shift from her usual pattern. If you're into your psychology and human behavior, tap subscribe and let's get into it. One of the more subtle cues involves spatial proximity, how close she stands when greeting you. Most people maintain a comfortable personal space bubble, roughly 18 to 24 inches. But when a woman feels emotionally charged or curious about someone, she might unconsciously step closer than usual. This slight invasion of personal space isn't about dominance, it's about emotional alignment. It often happens instinctively, as if her body wants to be part of your immediate field. Interestingly, even highly confident women may display this subtly, not by obvious movement, but by facing you directly and holding that space comfortably. Now, consider body orientation. The human body reveals alignment before the mind does. When greeting someone out of courtesy, people tend to turn only partially, keeping their torso angled away. But when greeting someone, they feel drawn to the torso, hips, and feet often orient directly toward the person. That full body alignment signals engagement and emotional availability. It's like the body saying, you have my attention. This is particularly meaningful in group settings. If she subconsciously positions herself to face you even while speaking with others, it's a nonverbal form of inclusion and interest. Facial expression also plays a vital role. Genuine smile, the kind that involves both the lips and eyes, signal emotional warmth. Psychologists call this the Dushan smile, and it's a reliable indicator of authentic positive emotion. When greeting you, if her smile seems to form more slowly or longer, that often reflects emotional depth. She might even display micro expressions of amusement or warmth before speaking. Tiny flushes, emotional depth, the brain can detect even if the conscious mind can't name them. These brief, involuntary facial signals are some of the clearest windows into subconscious attraction. One intriguing behavioral pattern is self-touching gestures during greetings. This might include adjusting hair, suiting clothing, or lightly touching the neck or collarbone. These gestures aren't necessarily flirtatious. They're self-regulation mechanisms. The body produces small bursts of adrenaline when feeling emotionally stimulated, and self-touch is a soothing way to release that tension. When these gestures appear alongside warm greetings or prolonged eye contact, they can indicate heightened emotional arousal, not necessarily desire, but alertness and sensitivity to your presence. Another layer of greeting psychology involves timing, how quickly or slowly she initiates the interaction. If she greets you first and with enthusiasm, that often signals comfort and a proactive mindset toward you. However, if she hesitates momentarily before speaking, that pause may not mean disinterest. It can reflect inner awareness. Her brain might be processing emotional signals before deciding how to respond. The length of that pause, when combined with body language and tone, can be a subtle reflection of inner dialogue. How do I appear right now? Or do I sound too eager? It's subtle but deeply human. Context is everything. A greeting in a professional environment differs from one in a social or relaxed setting. At work, social decorum filters out most overt emotional signals, but that doesn't erase them entirely. Instead, they become micro expressions, a subtle tone, a momentary glance, or a happy smile before regaining composure. These controlled behaviors often carry more significance than dramatic ones because they're restrained. The human mind reveals more in what it tries to hide than what it displays freely. Now, let's explore mirror behavior, one of psychologists' most consistent indicators of subconscious rapport. When greeting you, a woman who subtly mirrors your gestures or speech patterns might be signaling subconscious attunement. This mirroring happens without conscious thought and indicates that two nervous systems are syncing emotionally. if she laughs when you laugh, or slightly matches your posture during a greeting. That's not coincidence, it's empathy and mutual awareness in motion. Even where choice can reveal emotional nuance, some greetings are purely functional. Hey, hi, good to see you. But when abstraction colors the interaction, language tends to become more personalized. She might greet you using your name more often or add a small relational phrases like how you been? Or I was just thinking about you. This admirable flourishes reflect emotional investment. They turn a basic greeting into a micro conversation that acknowledges personal connection, even if subtly. Laughter and humor often appear during greetings infused with hidden instruction. Humor acts as a release valve for tension and uncertainty. When someone feels a spurt of interest, laughter becomes a social lubricant that allows emotional expression without rest. If she greets you with an unexpected joke or playful tone, it may be her subconscious way of softening vulnerability. This type of laughter tends to sound slightly higher in pitch and more spontaneous than her regular interactions because it's fueled by emotional energy rather than routine politeness. We can't overlook micro expressions of tension either. Sometimes, when a woman has unspoken feelings or curiosity, her body will display micro signs of anxiety during greetings. A quick inhales, a slight breathing, or shifting weight between feet. These aren't negative, they're psychological responses to emotional arousal. Think of them as the body's way of saying, I'm aware of something here. In psychology, these are classified as approach avoidance complex. The subconscious desire to move closer mixed with the instinct to stay composed. Touch during a greeting, even something as simple as a brief hand-on gesture, is another meaningful cue. Humans use light touch to establish warmth, reassurance, or inclusion. If she initiates touch naturally by greeting you, it may indicate comfort or emotional familiarity. The key distinction is context. A friendly pat is different from an intentionally sustained touch. The latter, when combined with prolonged eye contact or a softened tone, can reflect a subconscious expression of closeness or fondness. Interestingly, avoidance can be assigned to some women respond to unexpected attraction by becoming slightly distant or overly formal during greetings. This isn't rejection, it's a self-regulation. When someone feels emotionally stimulated but uncertain, they often overcompensate by acting more composed. If you sense a sudden change from relaxed friendliness to stiff politeness, it could mean she is consciously reining in emotions that caught her off guard. Nonverbal communication is also shaped by cultural conditioning. Some gestures of greeting that appear flirtatious in one culture are perfectly neutral in another. Eye contact, for example, may signal confidence in Western societies but respect boundaries differently elsewhere. Understanding this cultural layer prevents misinterpretation and ground your perception in emotional intelligence rather than assumption. From an evolutionary standpoint, attraction signaled through greetings is tied to survival instincts. Humans evolved to assess potential partners through brief encounters, scanning for health, emotional stability, and compatibility. The grading serves as a social test, a low-state, high-information moment where the brain gathers a subtle data. The subconscious mind may record sensations or fantasies linked to previous encounters, subtly influencing posture, tone, or expression without conscious awareness. In neuroscience, this is connected to dopamine and oxytocin release, the brain's reward and bonding chemicals. When we interact with someone we are drawn to, these neurochemicals elevate mood and create microbursts of pleasure. That's why her greeting might seem unusually enthusiastic, warm, or emotionally charged. It's not calculated. It's a chemistry in motion, literally. Psychologically, attraction also triggers a selective attention. When greeting someone she is thought about before, a woman's focus suddenly narrows, her awareness of background noise decreases, her body language synchronizes, and her attention becomes momentarily tonal. This shift is often visible, pupils slightly dilate, and a facial expression becomes more animated. It's as if her body is saying, I'm fully here right now. However, attraction cues are never guaranteed. Their probabilities, every individual expresses curiosity differently based on personality type, confidence, and social comfort. Some women are naturally expressive, others are more contained. The key is to observe others and not signal moments. A greeting that consistently carries warmth, sensitiveness, or subtle tension over time is far more telling than one isolated instance. This video was just the beginning. Stay with us by subscribing. One of the most misunderstood aspects of these cues is projection, when people interpret friendliness as attraction. To avoid this, always frame your observations through empathy rather than assumption. The goal isn't to decode women like puzzles, it's to become emotionally literate, to notice energy shifts and respond respectfully. Awareness builds a social intelligence, not entitlement. Ultimately, greetings are microcosms of human emotion. They reflect the invisible dialogue between two nervous systems. When a woman greets you warmly, nervously, or differently than others, it might not mean she is consciously acting on attraction, but it often reveals emotional movements beneath the surface. That's what makes understanding psychology so powerful. It helps us see the story beyond the smile. Learning to interpret these moments through a psychological lens enhances every kind of relationship, romantic, social, and professional alike. When you develop emotional attunement, you stop reacting and start reading. You learn to differentiate a friendliness from chemistry, respect from hesitation, and comfort from curiosity. This is the foundation of genuine confidence, being present enough to perceive without overstepping. So next time a woman greets you and something about it feels charged or unique, take a mental step back, observe, don't assume, appreciate the beauty of subconscious communication, the delicate dance between thought, emotion, and body language, because whether it's warmth, tension, or curiosity, that greeting reveals the incredible complexity of human psychology. Beyond every hello, there's a silent world of signals, and understanding them is what makes connection truly extraordinary. Thank you for watching. See you soon.